The Prime Minister has declared that he has nothing but contempt for the Australians stuck in Syria. Let's get more from political reporter Stephanie Boris. So, Steph, hi there. The Prime Minister has ramped up his rhetoric around criticising the Australian women currently in Syria. What's he said?
Well, the Prime Minister today is insisting his government will do nothing to help repatriate this group of women and children that are trying to leave Syria. Today, really increasing his language, his strong language about his desire to do essentially nothing. We know that these women and children are trying to leave Syria to get back to Australia. Now, the opposition is drawing a link between the issuing of passports and saying that is a form of help from the Australian government, that these people are being given passports. It is interesting to watch and listen to the responses we're hearing from the government. When we've asked them, have passports been issued? They're not saying a simple yes. The explanation they're giving is that it is Australian law, there are legal obligations, that passports must be issued if an Australian citizen is asking. So you can see there that there is a little bit of obviously concern from the government side that they don't want the community thinking that the Australian government is helping in getting these people home. The government wanting to point out that it's just a matter of protocol that these passports have to be issued. That said, the opposition is arguing there's a piece of legislation where in extreme circumstances a passport could be denied. But the key word there, Ros, is extreme, and whether the threshold can be met in this circumstance doesn't seem to be the case. The Prime Minister was on ABC Radio earlier today, very much trying to make the point that his government has no intention of helping out in a practical sense of getting these women and children out of the camp and back to Australia.
The government is providing no support for the repatriation of these people or any support whatsoever. I have nothing but contempt for these people.
Hold on, Prime Minister. Some of these are children. Australian children, 23 children. You have contempt for them?
I have contempt for their parents who have put these children in that situation.
And Steph, one of the Australians has been temporarily banned from coming back. Could there be more added to that list?
Yeah, so just one at the moment, Ros. Of course, more could be added, but the threshold appears to be incredibly high to meet for the government to be able to enforce that. The reason I say that, from what we've been able to ascertain, the number of temporary exclusion orders that have been issued under this government and the previous coalition government appears to be very small. Under 10 have been issued in all that time when we've seen people from Syria and Iraq come back to Australia. So the argument's been made today by the Shadow Home Affairs Minister John O'Donoghue, and maybe the laws need to change, they need to toughen. He's gone so far as to suggest Parliament should be recalled to fix this so more of these women can be temporarily banned from coming back to Australia.
I cannot for the life of me understand how one of these so-called ISIS brides somehow warrants the application of an exclusion order, but the others who travelled to the same location for the same reason to support the same death cult don't warrant a TEO. Makes no sense. So if we need to lower a threshold or alter the test for making these tests applicable, these exclusion orders applicable, then let's do that. It is on the government, who last night on 7:30, the Minister for Home Affairs says, well, we're just applying the laws that John Howard introduced. If his contention is these laws don't go far enough or enable him to protect this country well enough, we're ready to go back to Parliament to change laws that alter things and protect us properly.
Now, Ros, it must be noted this isn't a new issue. Men, women and children with links to ISIS did come home to Australia under the former coalition government as well. We've had confirmation from the Federal Police today in terms of how many have been charged because they essentially broke the law by going to countries where there are deemed terrorist organisation activity occurring. That figure is about 10, 9 men and 1 woman. We know that the woman did plead guilty at the time, but she was let off with a good behaviour bond. We're not quite sure how many convictions occurred from those other men that were charged, but it gives you an indication as to just how hard it is for charges to be laid, given we know that dozens of people have already come back to Australia from Syria and Iraq.